Private home buyers will be better protected against severe construction defects and safety issues, with tougher measures against errant housing developers. Authorities say the measures target serious offenders and will not affect the majority of developers who have generally maintained good construction standards. Developers who repeatedly deliver projects with major defects or severe safety-related breaches could be barred from taking part in residential land sales for up to 5 years. They could also face restrictions on selling units in future projects. In deciding penalties, the government will consider factors like the severity of defects, impact on homeowners, and whether there were repeated issues. Developers will be given opportunities to make rectifications before penalties are imposed. On this, we speak to Professor Sing Tien Foo. He's Provost Chair Professor at the Department of Real Estate at the NUS Business School. Thanks so much for coming, Professor Sing. Why is there a need for measures like these?
If you look at the construction or development industry, actually there are already check and balances provided in the system. We have self-regulatory system regime where developer is governed by various professional standards, and government also have very stringent kind of checking at the planning stage, design stage, and construction stage. I think this additional rules or regulation will further enhance, I think, the deterrence in terms of and also elevate the quality of the products and the developments project in the industry as well. So you help to elevate overall professionalism and quality, because I think if you look at property is a very expensive investment and purchased by individual household. I think it's important to make sure that the household interest, especially consumer interest, is properly guarded and protected through this new measure.
When you say properly and professionally, I take it this would be fine-tuning what would count as a punishable defect.
Yes.
And then the penalty that should be levied out in accordance with the level of that defect. Is that what these new measures do?
Yeah. If you look at some of the measures in the past, a lot of these are monitoring kind of indicator. We have concourse, the quality indicator. We also have a planning check and balance, and also this self-regulatory regime like different professional bodies. I think all these are monitoring mechanism. I think these two rules have a lot more accountability and enforcement kind of mechanism. I think developer who infringe the rules will be disqualified from land sales. They also be banned from sales of their project and so on. All these actually provide additional binding regulatory effects on the developer. So this can actually further enhance, actually tighten the rule, especially to deter those minority developers who actually continue or repeatedly not delivering the promises or the quality of the product to the consumer.
The stress, of course, earlier, before we cross to you, that as long, essentially, as you toe the line as a developer, you should not worry about these stricter measures.
Okay.
And even developers who make mistakes are given chances to make rectifications before they have to face any kind of penalty.
Yeah.
But is there any space for developers who feel this might be too punitive in this way? Would this in any way curb growth, good growth in the industry?
Developers who are in long-term business, I think usually they want to build a long-term customer relationship on reputation, so they are unlikely to actually compromise in terms of quality. However, we cannot actually rule out there will be other developers, because of the cost constraint or because of the profit-driven kind of motive, they may try to kind of increase the profit through cutting corners, to using some less lower quality material downstream the process. I think these rules will actually apply more towards these developers. The minority of them is actually deliver sub-quality or substandard kind of products. I think these rules will actually have stronger impact on this group of developers. A majority of developers, because they're in the business for long term, I think the credibility and the reputation is very important for them. So many of them want to actually make sure that their product or their development or their project will be up to the gold standard, even better. So they even have a lot of these competition to actually judge this project and so on. I think this gives a very strong signal to consumer. I think in the long term, if you are in the business for long term, I think this reputation signal will be very important to some of these.
So you mentioned cutting corners. So sometimes cutting corners for now might reduce costs, but for anyone who's thinking longer term, where reputation is where actually your future earnings lies. Could there be any rise in cost in the immediate term, which might consumers will then be passed on to them before we get to longer term gains in terms of reputation?
Yeah. Actually, there will be some rise in the cost. Actually, for developers who want to actually provide higher quality products and higher quality materials and so on. I think if they are able to look at this as a long-term business, they will be able to spread out these costs and actually be able to sell the product or their development or their project at a premium compared to others' products.
But this is immediate rise in costs.
Yeah, I think shortly there will be some increase in the cost, but in the long term, this is important signaling, especially in a highly competitive market when there are a lot of developers. You can't really differentiate the quality, or we call the information asymmetry. I think this signaling is important. It will take time for them to build up this quality and reputation. So for developers, I think it's better for them to actually pay a higher cost by providing a better quality material, but the longer term, they'll probably be able to stay in the business for long term and also gain better trust from the consumer.
So it's setting longer term standards. Final question now. These rules, the suggestion is they move beyond developers. So accountability is extended to both directors and shareholders. How does it work? Final question.
Yeah. Because if you look at many of these developers, especially those listed public listed entities, they're actually governed by their management board as well. Some of these directors sitting on the board have also a lot of responsibility and obligation to ensure that these developers follow all these regulation and guidelines properly as well. So any of these non-compliances and defects, this director also should also be responsible as well. Therefore, this rule apply to some of the director, especially the substantial shareholder or the independent director as well. So this rule actually have wider kind of influence as well, and those who are sitting on the board who are making influence on the decision making of the company.
All right, so go all the way up, so that goes all the way down in the end. Thanks so much for coming this evening, Professor Sing Tien Foo from the Department of Real Estate at NUS Business School.
Thank you.